feel that? Are you gonna feel that? Okay. Are you gonna feel that? Are you gonna feel that? Are you gonna feel that? Are you gonna are you gonna feel that? Are you gonna feel that? Okay. Are you gonna feel that?
All right, what's up, everybody? It is the Ref Room. Welcome in. I am Scott Smokin SIlz, along with our local referee-in-chief, Brad Baumruck, a.k.a. Birthday Boy. Happy birthday to you. I know it was a day or two ago, but, we still got to throw it out there, so congratulations.
Hey, Scott.
You look good for 55, man. I got to tell you. I wish I looked that good.
Best mudslinging was from our old IHOA president. He put on Facebook, congratulations on turning 50. You're young if you're a tree.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, thank you.
As long as you move a little bit better than a tree, you'll be okay out there.
Well, you know what? Actually, I did get a couple emails from people that I don't even know at my Ref Room email, so I appreciate that. So, it was nice to hear from people I really don't know, and it was just a, hey, happy birthday. So
that is
I don't know
nice.
how they found it, my Facebook or something like that. But appreciate it. So, and I also appreciate everybody that called, texted, emailed. I mean, Facebook, Twittered, however you did it. I mean, my phone by 9 a.m. When I was at the annual summit for AHI, it had like 50 notifications already, and I'm like,
you should have left that thing on and just enjoyed it.
Just kept letting it ding, like
absolutely, ring, ding, do everything. And just say, this is my daily life here. Okay, you don't understand. This is why I should be paid for this.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would be a suffice because most of the time people aren't contacting me before 9 a.m. But somebody did send me a text message because they get up very early at 3:56 a.m. So I thought that one was interesting. Doesn't bother me. It didn't faze me. I don't wake up.
Might have been somebody just going to bed at 3:56 a.m. That's more my go-to-bed time than my get-up time.
100% positive this person was going to work.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, happy birthday to you. And, I can't believe it. We are down to the Stanley Cup finals.
Yeah.
6-day layoff, crazy. Though. What are they thinking about? 6 days off. Come on. It's not the Super Bowl.
Did you watch
this? Is not going to end till almost July 1st if this series goes 7 games, which I don't know if it will, but.
Well, I was going to say, did you watch the Dallas-Edmonton game?
I did watch the Dallas-Edmonton game. I watched, I went to dinner last night. I had the night off. And I asked, can you put the hockey game on? Well, somebody requested watching 60 Minutes in a bar or, like a restaurant. Are you kidding me? They did not put the hockey game on. So I promptly ate my food and got out of there and left. But, that's almost like I need to send an email to their corporate office and say, hey, you don't put 60 Minutes on in a restaurant, okay? Like, that doesn't get you customers when they're sitting at the bar to eat.
Hang on. You ever seen Beverly Hills Cop 3?
I probably have not.
He goes into the bar, and Uncle Dave is like, the Walt Disney of the world, and they're trying to frame Axel Foley, and the guy's like, did you hear somebody shot Uncle Dave? Right in the bar, they put on the news. Like, and everybody was mystified, so I beg to differ in TV world.
It's reruns. It's not even a new episode, okay? Like, what's the demographic? The demographic there must be over 65 years old or what?
I don't know. You're eating there. So
yeah, I'm eating there. Thanks.
A new place. You're welcome.
Exactly. I got to go to some place that's got more than 2 TVs, I guess. Anyway, go ahead.
The one thing I wanted, if the one thing I wanted to comment on was, I did watch that Edmonton-Dallas game, and both of those teams looked just exhausted. Like, they look like they have gotten the crap beaten out of them all the way up, but Florida does not look exhausted. So,
well, I mean, all these teams,
might help.
Both those series were really great. I mean, I get they only won 6 games, but those were all really good games. And I think a lot of people, obviously New Yorkers or the East Coasters, probably felt that the Rangers were the better team and should keep going. But I mean, they got outplayed 2/3 of the game by Florida like every night. Those guys, you talk about puck control and not giving up the puck, unbelievable. And New York, great goaltending, unbelievable. It was a great series.
Remember, Florida's ticked that they didn't win last year too.
Yeah.
So they're looking to settle the score with the other side here on the West. So
no doubt. Well, I got the matchup I want. Because I wanted Florida and Edmonton at this point. That's what I was hoping for. And, as a streamer, you guys know I also stream a music show. Well, one of my buddies was the DJ for the Edmonton Oilers. He runs a channel called the Underground Rescue Channel on Twitch. And so he and I connected last night over a Facebook message, and we now have a little bet on the series. So if you see me wearing his logo on my shirt for a few weeks, you'll know why. It means Edmonton won the Stanley Cup. And if you see the Hot Mix 5 logo running around in Canada, you'll know that Florida took care of business, okay? So we got a little something going. We might have to throw a pizza into that mix. I don't know if they can ship international or not. That would be an international. I don't know if you can send pizza international. We'll have to find out. I've never done that, but
I bet you a bunch of Illuminatis or Giordano's.
Maybe Luz or Giordano's. That would be cool because he's a big pizza freak. He during his stream he runs a pizza. He puts on this like pizza costume and plays. So he's total like pizza nut. I don't know how they are up. I don't know how the pizza is up in Canada, but
I can't hear you. You're breaking up, Scott. What? Yeah. What did you say? What?
How's the pizza up in Canada?
I remember I'll take New York pizza before Canada pizza.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Well, anyway, there were a couple questionable calls. We got to throw a couple of these out here.
Here we go. I know where you're going to go.
Absolutely. We got to tie referees into this because I want to say, was it Game 3 or Game 4 that went OT with New York and the Panthers? Well, it was in the overtime. There was a breakaway. They did not call the penalty shot. They called a penalty.
Uh-huh.
Now, could that have cost somebody the series? Because the Panthers went in and scored right away on the power play. But there's probably a 70 or 80% chance that they had called a penalty shot. That puck would have been that would have been saved. And we'd have been playing on. Nobody would have been shorthanded at that point.
I get it, but come on, man. Like you're gonna say it was Game 4. That's what I thought.
Game 4, and it was an obvious. Obvious
They're
penalty
gonna-
shot.
They're going to let them play out, okay? They don't reduce the players on the ice in the NHL. They're going to let the teams figure it out. No offense. There's a slashing penalty there. I get it. Guess what? They're saying play march on. You guys are going to figure this one out. I bet you nobody had a problem with it afterwards. Although somebody probably said
I'm
something
sure
in
somebody
one of the
did have a
comments.
problem with it afterwards because as soon as they put somebody in the box, that game was over. So I'm sure they did have a problem with that. But I'm curious about that one. And last night, and I forget, was it an Oiler player? I know they had the penalty on Draisaitl for shooting the puck out of the arena. He got a delay of game. But there was another play, and I can't remember who was involved. But somebody basically grabbed the puck, caught it, then they got jammed up on the boards, had nowhere to go, and they basically threw the puck forward. And it was talked about. The announcers called him out on it. It's like, why no penalty there? Wouldn't that be a penalty?
Are you talking? You mean in the NHL? Yeah, man. If he
Yeah.
closes his hand on the puck, but
He closed his hand on the puck and threw it. He threw it.
I don't know
So
if I didn't see that play honestly because
Yeah.
I was doing something. I know because I came back and there was
yeah,
like this fury.
Alex Crow
on
says
Facebook, and I'm
McDavid
like,
grabbed the puck. Yeah, maybe that's why he didn't get a penalty because it's McDavid. But yeah, I thought that should have been a penalty probably. What's your thoughts?
I didn't see it.
Thanks,
Honestly, I
Alex,
was
for
doing
that.
Something.
Yeah,
What does
McDavid.
Alex think since he saw it?
There we go. McDavid, much better. Good spelling
McDavid
there.
Scott.
Yeah. But anyway, what did you think, Alex? Come on, Crow.
Man,
Give us what you think. I think that should have been a
typing.
penalty.
He's typing.
Yeah, I know he is. I know he
Calm
is.
down. He's a nice kid. He's probably got schoolwork to get done, or
Right.
He should be on break.
He's
Yeah,
out.
right.
He's out.
All
He's living the high life now. He's out.
right. Well, maybe he'll get back to you.
All right. We'll wait him out. By the way, we are only on YouTube right now. Facebook changed their API, and I went in and tweaked this thing. I thought I had it, but we should have probably tested it, which we didn't.
You mean like
So
I
it's
said
not-
yesterday?
It's not working.
But
Yes.
that's
Yeah. Well, you
okay.
called
Don't
me when
worry
I was in
about
the
it.
car. All right.
We could have tested it.
Right. Anyway, so, okay, let's see what his response is. Here it is. He says, I wasn't sure if in the NHL it's just the face-off or the penalty, but definitely should have been whistled for whatever it is. Well, in USA Hockey, if you grab the puck, like you hold
Close
it,
your hand on it.
close your hand on it and try to move it, it's a
It's a
whistle.
face-off. The NHL,
But-
it's a penalty.
But he also threw the puck. Like, he didn't grab the
Well, you
puck
could-
and just kind of, he basically
Question is,
moved it
did he
forward.
Yeah, see, like he'd have to catch it and throw it. Like you
Yeah.
could propel it forward with your hand. That's illegal. It's
Yeah.
an illegal hand pass, but you can't catch it.
Yeah. Let's see. He's got a rule cited here.
Yeah, we know what
Because
USA,
USA
says.
Rule 16 says if you close your hand on, it's just a face-off. Yep, exactly. That's correct.
And that's not a competitive rule. That's
Yeah.
That's definitely see, underhand shoveled it forward.
Yeah, he said.
So it'd just be a stoppage. It would be. an illegal
Yeah,
penalty.
that wasn't a shovel. That was
Ah,
I
see,
got
now,
it. I'm
you
gonna
wanted his
I'm gonna move
opinion,
it.
now.
I'm gonna move it forward. He had nowhere to go, so I think he intended to move it forward, but he was just
Hey,
trapped along the boards and
desperation
tried to
to
move
get
it
out of there.
forward to see if he could get that thing going. All right, so
before
Crow,
a
just
flying
out of
elbow gets him.
curiosity, did you see the game 4, the overtime, the penalty that was called? I thought that should have been a penalty shot. And that series might still be going if they had called a penalty shot in that situation. Let's be real honest about it. The advantage goes to the goalie, not to the shooter. But you guys in the comments, tell me what you think. So let's see what he says. He says, like he definitely closed his hand, kind of threw it forward. Okay, which one?
right.
Panthers.
I'll let you
Yeah, the
guys
Panthers
text each other. Call
Panthers
me next
Rangers
week.
game. It was a Ranger player that committed the foul, and the Panthers got the power play in overtime. And as soon as they put a guy in the box, the game was over on that power play, like real quick. So, all right, you must not have seen it because you'd be chiming in. Trust me. Anyway,
I didn't see it. I told you.
that's. I'll tell you what. Have you had any?
Yeah,
Have you
yes,
had
I
any
didn't
crazy
see.
situation? I had a situation the other night. I've never had in my 13 years. I
All
had
right,
two.
Go ahead.
I had two guys in the corner. It's a high school, not a high school game. It was a U18 Northwest game. Two guys in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
They both get their sticks out of their hands. Both sticks come out of the hands. And one of the players picks up the stick and goes up the ice. And the other one is like, he's got my stick. And I looked at him like, you're sure? And he's like, yep. I'm like, okay. They had possession, shut that play down. Penalty for interference. Player had taken the other guy's stick into play. Never had that happen before. Have you had that happen before?
No, but I can tell you
13.
this. I would have communicated with that player to drop the stick immediately first.
There was nothing to communicate. He was already like 2 zones down.
I still would have tried to communicate with him because more than likely he didn't realize which stick he had.
Yeah, he thought he had his own stick. He thought he had his own. He thought he had his own. Yeah.
I mean, the rule is
Never had that. Never had that. 13 years that 2 guys lose their sticks and nobody comes out with their own stick. You know, that was just interesting.
So the other guy came out with the other stick?
No, he didn't. He didn't pick. He knew it wasn't his stick, so he came out of there, no stick in his hands, left the other stick in there. I mean, come on, how difficult it is to know what stick you're playing with. They weren't even close. They weren't even close. The tapes were different. The knobs were different. The colors of the sticks were different.
How many guys look at their stick after they whiff at it, like the stick did it? Okay, let's just point that out.
You can look at it when you whiff, and it's always the equipment, but you know what stick you have. It's not like it was 2 Bauer sticks laying there and they were both the same color.
Nah, well,
I'd been a little more sympathetic in that situation.
I would have definitely tried to communicate to the player to drop it. Because did he get involved with the stick?
Yeah, he's down the ice.
He was playing
in play. He's down in play. He's down in play. He's down in play.
Did he touch the puck?
He's long gone. I couldn't even tell you. He's up there like 2 zones in front of me at that point.
What if he got off the ice and returned the bench to the other?
Yeah, he didn't get off the ice. He was right there in play.
I'm just pointing out. I think a little more communication could have avoided that. When it seems kind of useless to call a penalty at that point.
Yeah.
Honestly, you need a correction in a game because of that when he hasn't participated in play. Man,
he's in play,
ice, but he's
up there in play.
I get it. Whatever.
They're on the attack. They're moving into scoring territory.
Obviously, you haven't called enough penalties lately.
Yeah, probably right. Velcro's been working, by the way. Velcro, pretty good. Doesn't go up very much.
Oh, God. Need to get you shoulder injury. That'll help out.
Oh, no. That keeps the arm down for sure. That makes it painful to go up, even for a delay. You have to wash everything at that point. You got to alligator arms them out like this, you know. Anyway. All right, so what else you want to talk about? We should probably talk a little bit about the 2-1 because I know you are pushing hard for the 2-1. And so, you know, maybe you could tell everybody why we're looking at the 2-1 and what the benefits will be and all the stuff that's associated if it gets passed to proceed with a trial. It'll be a trial. Is that what it would be for one season? Test pilot for one season? Or would it be shorter?
I'm recommending 2 seasons, maximum of 3. That would give us the data that we need. But the committee also that approves the test pilot can also request additional time for it to be evaluated properly. You know, the one big benefit is officials won't have games that are scheduled with 2 referees, whereas there's 7 or 8, 10 other games at the same time that have 4. I could bring that down to where you'd have those ex-referees that would be on those games required for 4 to be able to work on another game, so we'd have less games that go down to 2. Or we did have 2 instances last season where there were 2 high school games that were played with 1 referee. That's all they could get.
What about if we only did this on Saturdays? Because the reality of it is we've got enough officials that want to work on the weekdays. If the teams would schedule the games on the weekdays, they would get better referees and full coverage. Now, I'm not a scheduler, but I'm pretty sure that that would be the case.
Yeah, so the realistic part of that is practice time is generally shorter than game time, okay? Now, it might be only by 30 minutes, right? The ice is more valuable during the week than it is on the weekend. So
Right.
they're going to play a majority of those games on the weekend. Now, they may play a couple occasional here and there when they have like an ice slot that somebody can't use in their club or their JV can't when it's backed up to the varsity. But that's just a realistic thing that we have going on. The ice fees are more expensive during the week because they're considered primetime ice.
Right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday are cheaper, so they're going to have a majority of their games at that time. That's just going to happen, which is then going to compete with the American League, NCAA, ACHA.
No, I get that.
AAA,
I
all
get
these
that. On
other
the
things.
Saturdays, I could see the 2-1. You know, I could see it. But do we need that on a Monday night or a Wednesday night game? Do we need a 2-1?
No, but what you would do is you would still test it consistently. And also, when a league would switch over, they're probably going to switch over to that staff for the season and then possibly switch over to what would happen is they would switch over. I can confidently say because our high school committee would request it and require it because our teams would be moving out of here to nationals, and the nationals all run 4 official systems. So all of our levels, when they move out of regular season, including the women's divisions of like tier 2, tier 3, or not tier 3, tier 1, tier 2, they all have 4 officials,
Right?
Because they are moving on. It's to prep them for what they're moving on for.
So they won't be changing. It's only high school and it's only varsity. Is that correct?
High school varsity. If we attempted to try this with other levels of hockey, we'd actually be increasing our problem. And our problem is specifically we do not have enough qualified referees to fill 4 official spots every single time that we need them on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's just unable to. We've attempted it. There are officials, unfortunately, that are pushed into spots that are uncomfortable for them, or even worse, discourages them, and they quit.
Yeah, I
And
get it.
that doesn't help out anybody. So the best thing is if we reduced it too, this would also cause the referees that are up and coming maybe to work on some of the lower level games that we have in those divisions, or more realistically, what should be happening, they should be working lower levels of hockey, which would then also, at the same time when this happened, it would also alleviate some of our evaluators from having to skate so many games, to whereas those lower level games could be evaluated to give officials lifetime feedback and also continue education throughout the season, not just the one time that we get seminar season at the beginning of the year, or stuff like that. So we have to look at it from every angle. It's more complex than everybody's looking at. I was talking with some people at the AHI annual summit, and a lot of people recognized, that I explained it to them. There's a lot of referees now. Back in the day when I was in my 20s, if you gave me 3 high school games in a row, it was like, yeah, absolutely, right? Like, even now I'll still do it. But 3 high school games in a row when I was in my 20s, they all pretty much played 14-minute periods. Only 2 leagues had an ice cut. So you're in and out for those 3 games in less than 5 hours, right? You're home in 6.
That's
Well, now
not even
now
2
you're
games
refereeing
now.
it. Well, you're refereeing 2-3 games. 3 games, it's almost a 7-hour commitment. That's an
right.
entire Saturday, and most people, they're doing this to be a part of the game, not have the game be their life. And that's a different problem that everybody's dealing with, and nobody wants to look that one in the face. And until that happens, I don't really know what to do, and I can't change that. A lot of the teams, they want to play to get to nationals, and the nationals, they have extended times. And I understand that side of it too, but there's also plausible things that, maybe increase your practice times and always practice more and play shorter periods so that you can have the games that you want. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the solution. I'm not the guy with the solution.
It is interesting.
I'm the guy trying to
All
have
the
a
teams
problem.
want to add more time, then they want to add overtime, then they want to add shootout, then they want to add, maybe not in high school, they don't have the option, but men's league, we don't want the 5-goal running clock now either. Like it's just getting longer and longer and longer. And by the way, the pay hasn't gone up to go with the longer times that they all want. Just so you know.
It's definitely gone. It's definitely gone up, but it's definitely gone up. Maybe not to your satisfaction, but it's gone up.
Okay, we'll save that for a whole nother discussion. But you and I have that talk on our own. But anyway, all right. So, what does it take for us to get the 2-1? Like, you're going to have to present this at USA Hockey.
For the second time,
does this have to be voted on since it's not like a rule change? It's more of a pilot program?
So because it's a pilot program, as long as the official section and the playing rules committee approve a test pilot, then we'd be good to go, which would also then we'd gather a committee here. We want to shoot our own videos for it. I already have a slide deck done for the 2-1 positioning that I went through and re-vetted and updated some stuff on it. And then we would also still have to pick who's going to work it, who's going to be a part of it. And then every official that's on the ice will have to fill out forms afterwards. Or else, guess what? You won't get paid. That'll be part of the test pilot. So, unfortunately, that's just another thing you'll have to do. And we did it 20 years ago. IHOA's done it before.
Yeah.
We can do it again. And guess what? It's even easier now. When they were doing it then, they were sending packets of paper. We would have to mail in our forms or email them in, right? Well, now guess what? You know, we'll utilize technology. We have somebody that collects data for a living that actually sought me out and is more than willing to do that for us. So I'm really excited about that, to be honest with you, because then I don't have to do it. And you know what? It'll be presented in a way that it's easy for me to read, easier for other people to read. And if we need to tweak it based upon the committee, we'll tweak it. It's just one of those things that we'll have to just, go through and hopefully get them the best data that we can. We could test pilot it, though, too, and the high school varsity players, they may not be able to adapt to it. It just may not work with that level of hockey. Because if you look at ACHA at the beginning of the year, when they run the 2-1 system, you'll have goalies that leave the net when the referee's arm goes up for an icing.
Yeah.
But they catch on real fast. But who knows if high school players will catch on. If they don't, guess what? We can't use the system. It doesn't work with youth. We move on. We at least tried it. We gave it our best. And then, we'll go through and see what everybody says. The referees, they may not like it. I get it. It's, a lot of people think it's complex. Guess what? We had some tournaments here last year in the summer that ran high school, and they ran 2-1s unsanctioned. And I was with 2 new referees on every single game that I did. And by the end of it, they could work the system, and there was 0 issues. So if new referees that have never worked a high school game can work with one person that's done it and done it properly, and they can get it by the end of it and then be working it the next day when I come in with somebody new and they're doing it properly, it can be taught. It can be changed. Everybody just has to be willing.
Are they doing the real 2-1 or are they doing monkey in the middle?
Real 2-1, because I did not teach it any other way. That will be the test pilot. That will be what will be used. That is what should be used even at the ACHA levels. I know guys just, the lines are supposed to be here, but do you know? Okay, so there's 2 things about that. Number one, the lines always drops every puck. That's even in the 4 official system for the ACHA and NCAA. Number 2, though, that system is set up so that one person is always making the determination on icings, so that the icings are always consistently called. Now, you are going to have one every once in a while where the lines is stuck and the referee just happens to be on the backside. It's going to happen. But 90% of it, 95% of it, that lines will be at center ice as the back referee in that system, and they'll complete the ice. Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple benefits. That is a benefit. There is a benefit that you're always going to have the same person dropping the puck, which means the puck should be pretty consistent. The face-off standard should be pretty consistent. It shouldn't change a lot during the course of the game. So from that standpoint, that's positive. You don't have 2 different people dropping the puck 2 different ways, or possibly 4 different people dropping the puck 4 different ways, which could happen in with the center ice face-off anyway. But yeah, that makes sense. Be interesting. Now, is this something that Scholastic is interested in, or is it just maybe North Central or
all 4 leagues have agreed to test pilot if we
so
ask.
Scholastic would go to 3 instead of 4. Okay.
I would think majority would be test piloted in their academic league, but that's also still something that we have to still fully discuss with them. They have expressed interest, as along have the other 3 leagues that we've spoken to. Now, again, we can't govern exactly, say these are the games or these are the games. We can suggest. They still have to have that ultimate approval. But they're normally pretty willing to work with us when there's a new idea out there. I think everybody wants to find a solution to this, to whereas they don't want to see their games on Thursday for Friday having one official on them. That's stressful for teams. I don't care who
stressful for the referee, too. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a good, not the most ideal situation.
All right, there's a good question that somebody just put up.
Yeah, let's see. You want the last one?
The last one.
Okay. George says, how do you cover both blue lines with only one linesman? It's a great question.
So what happens in the 2 referee, 1 linesman system is once the linesman goes and makes the initial call at the blue line, the referee that's immediately behind them, so in other words, they would be considered the front ref or the back referee at that or lines person at that point. So it's a transitioning job. They would skate by the lines person, go to the goal line, and transition into just a referee spot. Then the lines would hold that blue line until the back referee comes up, releases them from the blue line. They move back like they would be the back linesman in a regular 4 official or a 3 official system. And the referee assumes the blue line. So the referee at that blue line, when they're on there, calls that offsides. If the lines person is still there, they cover that.
So
then
ideally,
when the play switches and goes the other way, it changes again.
Ideally, you would have the same linesman calling all the lines if possible when teams are coming into the attacking zone. That's the ideal scenario. If there's not a turnover or a fast break or something that stretches, and now all of a sudden the referee would have to make that wave off signal if it's good coming into the zone. And, icings would be initiated by the linesman each time.
No.
And it would...
No.
Oh, the referee's going to...
So the R1 would be the one in the deep zone. So let's talk USA hockey and everything. R2 would be at the blue line, and linesman would be, let's say, at the center line for all intents and purposes. That's not how far back they're supposed to be. But let's just say that's where they are, right? They're the back lines at that point. Okay? The referee in the middle. That's the one that initiates every icing. It doesn't matter if it's a lines, a referee.
That's interesting because if the linesman initiated each icing in the middle position and the front, which would be transitioning from R2 into R1 because it's going into that zone, then he blows the whistle and puts his arm up. There's no confusion for the goaltender. So you don't have that arm going up by a referee when there's not a penalty.
But also what happens is on that as well is now the lines person has to skate all the way down the ice, shag the puck, and bring it back.
Oh, I thought the referees are supposed to shag pucks in the 2-1. So you have the linesman doing all the work, picking up all the pucks.
It won't kill you.
Dropping every puck, picking up every puck.
It won't kill you, I promise. I've done it. It's not that stressful. Trust me on that. You stand 80% of the time on the center line almost and watch the referees. That's what happens.
Interesting.
Sorry to tell you. It's really not that difficult. You got to drop face-offs. We understand that. We understand you get the puck. A lot of referees will pick it up for you, give it to you. But also, if you're transitioning to where the lines is in the middle and always putting their arm up, that means you have 2 people completing the icings. So you have 2 interpretations of icing finishing instead of 1.
Okay, let's run through a couple of the comments here, since I'm going to go backwards here a little bit. As an ACHA, been doing this for years. What's up, Karen? Thanks for checking in with us. And the answer to that is yes.
ACHA has been doing it forever. I don't know. Since I started refereeing in the ACHA and I was 19. I'm 41. So there you go.
The number came out. The number came out from the birthday boy. Okay. Can you make some kind of tutorial for this? Yes, there will definitely be.
So yes, number 1.
Study
and
guide.
Number 2 is Google 2-1 officials positioning Federation hockey rules. They have it all laid out. but we will create our own.
How do you cover both blue lines with only one linesman? I think we kind of covered that, so I think that's good.
It's not as difficult as you would think. It's actually a way easier system.
Okay.
And also for the referees that can't skate backwards very well, you skate a lot more forwards in the 2-1 positioning than you do in the 4. Skate a lot more forwards. Because now you're following the lines and skating forwards to catch up to play as it moves past you at the blue line, instead of you trying to stay in front of it the whole time backwards. So for you guys that don't like to skate backwards, that would help out too.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's a little bit on the 2-1. And
More than I wanted. No, I'm kidding.
You guys had your big A-High summit. Do you want to cover a little bit about what went down and how that affects everybody? Or
well, they voted on board members for A-High. There were 7 members that were up. 5 were only selected. So there was a one change where a board member was not reelected. So they have 1 new board member onto the board. And then normally we speak in a breakout room or something else, but Scott Zelkin from the USA Hockey Officiating Development Program came in and spoke, and he gave an excellent speech on what is going on really at the officials levels and why we're not keeping referees past the age of 20. So one thing he did.
What is the answer to that? What did they come to the conclusion?
Well, number one, it's a cultural issue. So, coaches, fans, the more things that everybody sees, it's getting worse. And those officials don't want to do it. So what happens is there's a curve. It goes, so there's 39% of the 31,000 officials that were in USA Hockey, 39% of them are underneath the age of 18. That's 40%, right? So by the time they hit their 20, there's only like 5%. And that's 5%, and it's a flat line all the way till 40. Then it jumps back up again.
Is that people coming back, or is that people coming in that want to be officials?
No. All across the board, all levels, 1 through 4. That's all there is. There is nobody between the age of 20 and 40, more like 45. And then another 20% of the 25%, something like that, I think you said, are beyond 45. And I hate to tell everybody, I mean, I admit it to myself, eventually one day we're just not going to be able to do this anymore. That's just the things of getting old. Whether it's injury, whether we don't want to do it anymore, whether we physically can't do it anymore. We all get told we can't play anymore. We just don't know when or by who. It's true. Sorry to say. So, but yeah, we need to have those officials that want to referee in their 20s. If we don't get those numbers up, there's just not going to be anybody left in 10 years. Because as the older officials start to age out.
What is USA Hockey doing to try to combat that situation and try to make it better? What do they bring up? The
same thing. They're trying to humanize the officials, which they have attempted to do the past year. They're going to continue to still keep doing that. But they will keep trying. But, it's one of those things. Our game is doing it to itself. But, this isn't just our problem. Every sport is having these issues. Football on the East Coast, all right? Football, right? Here in Illinois, I believe varsity and sophomore play on Friday. Saturday is junior varsity and juniors, I think. I think that's how it goes. But in the East Coast, they are playing varsity games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So some of these teams are playing a game on Sunday, and because the other team hasn't played, they're playing again on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reality of what's going to happen.
We got a comment here from Joe Heaton, one of the coaches. He says it's very encouraging to see you guys put so much time and dedication into officiating. As a coach, I hope you know it's much appreciated. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate it. We enjoy doing it. I mean, I even enjoy doing the show. This is great. And I think we've tried to humanize the official side of the business. It is a business, I guess.
We are human.
But yeah, I mean, we talk about a lot of things and why things go down a certain way or why they are responded to in a certain way. And, we've tried to, make that a little bit more public to people so that they can understand more about, what the referee might be thinking when they don't call that coincidental penalty and they only take one guy to the box or whatever the case may be. One player goes. We talk about a lot of these situations. So, I'm glad, here's a coach that's watching and probably, hopefully you get a little insight into things. Not that you need it more than you already know because you're an experienced coach. But in the meantime, that's why we do this. We're trying to enlighten some of the parents as to, like we had a situation. I'm not saying us. I'm just saying if they had a situation over the weekend. Normally when we walk in the rink, somebody comes up to us and says, hey, got to ask you about this. And they right away, they ask their question and you try to give them the answer. And, may not always be the answer that they're looking for, but, you try to explain what the rule is and how it's interpreted and what happens. So that's a big part of what this show is.
And I think that one of the hardest things for everybody to understand is the rules are black and white, okay? The game is played in the gray area, and the gray area is in the situation manual. And then even on top of that, there are things in that situation manual that still don't make it clear. So it all comes down to a judgment call of how the referee reads it, how the situation they feel needs to be handled, and they're trying to make the best objective decision that they can for the safety of the players, the game's integrity, and overall to do the best job that they can. And trust me, referees know when they screw up. They know it. They know it. They know it when they leave. There might be some of them that tell you they didn't, but yet they go home and they think about it. And so generally they know it. They don't need to hear it 55 times from the parents in the stands.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not putting that out there for you. I'm just putting it out there for everybody.
You can watch the NHL, the best players in the world and the best referees in the world, supposedly. And they have to go to the iPad quite frequently on certain things. They get the opportunity to review something or check something out. Certain calls are viewable for them.
Here's how I'll tell you how difficult the game is to officiate at the NHL level. They used to have it to where their foot had to be on the ice, contact with the blue line or the zone, right?
Not anymore.
They were getting micro camera film, right, that people can't even see. Our brain can't even comprehend it. But it's thousands and he's off the ice this much, but yet the linesman's 80 feet across the ice. Nobody can see that. I'm sorry. Nobody in the world can see that. But yet, here's what the NHL does, and we'll just make it break in the plane. Yep. Okay, that solved all their problems because they realized it was a problem and it was just screwing the game up.
Yep.
They shouldn't have allowed for those reviews, but the problem is they already have it there.
The other thing that was happening, my understanding is there were times where they would just call it offside rather than risk it because it came back to haunt them if they didn't call it offside. It wasn't reviewable. If it was called offside and play stopped, that ended the play. Versus they go in, they get a goal, and it was an offside. So they probably started to err a little more on the side of caution and just blew the whistle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not working in that level.
Keep in mind, everybody, for a lot of you that don't know this, a lot of the officials nowadays are not grassroots officials that have worked for 20 years or 25 years to get to the NHL. They may have never officiated, but they played D1 hockey or in some professional league and skated well, had a connection, got an invite that you could become an official, and you were made an official at that point.
Now, there are success stories. Let's not put them
no. I didn't say that's not the case for everybody because we have a great example here. We have some people that are going in the NHL Combine and have that opportunity to possibly move up. And I would wish nothing more for them than to be able to get into that position and do it because I think the world of them and what they do. So I'm all for that. And I think that that's really how it should be. But, they have a different viewpoint. I mean, they have a look for a linesman. They have a look for, look at them. They're all clones out there. If you look at those linesmen, they're all built the same way. They got a meme for them. What's
the
that?
thought process is we need to have the skaters to keep up with the game. And that's the thought process. We'll teach you how to referee after you get into that, after you've accomplished that. That is the thought process, because it is very difficult to referee and be able to skate. I understand that part.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of really good referees that didn't play D1 college that can skate. So, I mean, there's a great female athlete that outskated all the men in the NHL All-Star game for the fastest lap.
Yep.
She's never played in the NHL, but yet she beat every single one of them. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just putting it out there. There could be some people out there that could do it, and they're still on the on the radar. I was going to say prowl.
I saw something the other day on Facebook. Did the NHL, did one of the teams, and it might have been Chicago, to be honest. The picture indicated it looked like Chicago, but they have a lot of clickbait that they put up on Facebook, this particular. Well, I'm just saying, it's a hockey group, and they every day it's clickbait with them to get you to click a link. They make money doing that. But there was talk that there could be the first female coach. That doesn't say head coach behind the bench, but, coach for the NHL. That was the clickbait.
Somebody hired somebody already.
Recently, right? That's probably what it was. Yeah.
I'm like 90% sure somebody hired.
I didn't click in because I didn't want to be a part of the clickbait, but yeah, that makes sense. Well, I got to think, skating coach, I mean, did Laura Stram coach any of the, I'm sure she coached many of the NHL players. I got to think, she's probably done power skating for some of those teams at some point. So
I have no idea, but that could be maybe not as an actual staff member.
Right.
They do bring outside consultants.
Yeah.
So, exactly. But I don't know. I'm not in that world fully. I could sit in my TV and flip back and forth when I want to, and it's about all I need to be in it.
All right. So I only got one more thing I want to cover because we're going to get going in a couple minutes. But one more thing. Playoffs. The playoffs have been amazing. But what's your thoughts? It is a totally different world, obviously. Checking comes into play. The physical play becomes more a part of the game. Mm-hmm. And all the big money, big goal scorers really don't produce much in the playoffs. Have you noticed that? I mean, Panarin finally had a goal in the final game. He scored 49 goals in the regular season.
Harder to score in the playoffs, baby. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to just point this out, that the NHL season is grueling, okay? These guys are flying around. They're getting beaten up every day. They're on the ice every day, right? Okay, if they had to go through this all year, every player, by the time you even got to the playoffs, you wouldn't even have half the team that you started with. So it wouldn't even be worth it. So, you got to remember, you want your best players on the ice. You want them out there. You don't want them injured. Are they going to call the game differently so that they can get to the playoffs? Sorry to say. I just think that's the best way for the game, to keep the players playing. When you're 7 years old and, Sidney Crosby's injured again, and you go to the game for the third time in the 3 years that you've gone, and he's got a head injury every time.
Yeah.
Are you really that excited anymore to go the fourth time?
Not after you spent that $500 or $600, probably.
Well, do you get where I'm going with this, though? Think about it from that point of view.
From a business standpoint.
Not only a business standpoint to where people are coming in. Think about it from a fan standpoint. You're going to that game. You're spending that money. You want to see that certain player, right? You can understand if they're hurt once. But a guy like Sidney Crosby, if they played like this the whole time, I'm sorry, they're going to have to bring back enforcers. And there's going to be guys hurt all over the place. And it's just not going to be the same game during the regular season.
It's a good point.
And I get it. But I'm just saying, from a fan, I think I'd rather have them tone it down in the regular season so that those players can be there and make it to the playoffs. Then we can see where the cream of the crop rises to the top. I mean, when McDavid plays,
when he shows up, they win. When he shows up.
He
has to show up for them to win, which is a scary proposition. I didn't get to see all the games and, but I saw a lot more of these series than I've seen of the others. So now I guess the big question. So I'm rooting for, I like both the teams. I like the Oilers, but you know, I got my bet as I told you about earlier, so I'm going for the Panthers here. You know, would I be disappointed if they don't win? I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but I'm going for the Panthers, so I don't have to wear the Canadian shirt for weeks. Okay, just so Dragon, I know you're going to watch this. Telling you right now, I'm not wearing that Canadian shirt for weeks. So get ready. You're going to be wearing a Hot Mix 5 shirt for a long time up there. Okay, I'm setting this up for him.
Is there a way that we can alter his news thread so that he can't see who won? just so I don't have to hear you complain about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I think the Oilers have to favor the travel. This is a long. Think about this. This is East Coast time, Florida time, going to West Coast time, right? Edmonton's 2 hours, so that's a 3-hour swing, or is that a 4-hour swing? What is that?
I don't know.
So, so it's
know.
one.
Is
two,
Edmonton?
I think it's a three. I think it's a three. It's a three.
Mountain.
East to. I think they're West Coast time, aren't they? I don't know. So I'm
look.
guessing it's a 3-hour swing. I'm thinking 3 hours.
Man.
I could be wrong. So if somebody in the chat pointed out, appreciate that. But I'm guessing 3 hours. And
right now it's.
I wonder how.
Right now it's 5:23 in Edmonton, so it's a 2-hour difference.
No, because it's 7:23.
So it's a 2-hour difference.
And what time do you say it?
It's 5:23 there.
Really?
So
they're only an hour different from us, so it's only a 2-hour difference.
They're in Mountain Time.
So they must be Mountain Time. Okay, I was thinking they were West Coast time, that they were like further. All right, so 2-hour swing. How long? Google. How long is the flight from Fort Lauderdale to Edmonton?
Look, hold on.
Because you know now you got the flight.
Is this? Hang on. Is this the Roadrunner Acme Rocket one, or is this like a real flight?
Well, I'm just saying, like, what's the flying time? That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for how long you're going to sit at on the tarmac and what the snack in the movie will be.
You didn't get the Roadrunner thing, did you?
No, I didn't. Yeah, Acme. I know Roadrunner. Beep beep.
It's definitely. It's got a connecting flight, 8 hours almost.
No, can't be an 8-hour flight. Is it really?
A flight from Edmonton.
I mean,
connecting flight Miami.
Fort Lauderdale
Miami,
to Chicago
Florida,
is about 2.5 hours, right?
To Edmonton, 7 hours 45 minutes plus with a connecting flight. So it has
wow, and a 2-hour.
So your time in the air might not be that long.
Right, and a 2-hour swing.
Hold on there.
So I got to think. I got to think the travel helps Edmonton more than it helps.
Okay, if there's no connecting flight, 5 hours and 36 minutes.
That's a long flight. So they got to do that. You're doing it a minimum of once, but you could be doing it 3 times.
Yeah, but you got to remember they're going to fly out the night, so they're at Florida first, right?
I believe they're in Florida.
No, Edmonton. Hang on, I think they're in Florida too.
Yeah, I think they're in Florida first.
On this. I think they are too.
But they have 6 days to get there, so they could actually drive now since they decided to have 6 days between games.
You're such a putz.
They leave now. They can be well rested and used to the time change.
Yeah, so Oilers at Florida. So what they'll do is they'll leave immediately after game 2 in Florida. They'll fly out that night.
Yeah,
so
which will be, let's see, if it doesn't go to overtime, they're lucky if they get out of there at 12 or 1 o'clock at night, and then they'd pick up a couple hours going home.
Yeah, but so is Edmonton.
Yeah,
but so is Edmonton. They're flying home too.
Yeah.
So they'll be fully rested by game 3. That's not going to be a problem. They'll be adjusted. Plus, they have sleep specialists. They're told when to go to sleep, when to get up. How many hours? It's a science now. It's no longer.
I see trainers once in a while at the building ask, I'd want to find a sleep guy to tell me how I can get some rest and feel better. That's what I need. I need a sleep specialist.
Yeah. Close your eyes at night. You'll be fine. So,
all right. Well, on that helpful tip, there is your tip for the week, everybody, from the referee in chief himself.
Close your eyes.
All right.
I can sleep anytime. So. doesn't
Yeah,
I'm just one of those people.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to do it when I was your age. I could do that, but I can't do it anymore.
Here we go. All right.
Anyway, everybody have a great couple weeks. We're off next week because we do this every other week. We'll try to get the Facebook back up and running, so you guys can check it out there. But yeah, all right, Facebook, whatever.
Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
I hope somebody.
It's an audio glitch. It's just an audio glitch. That's all. All right. Well, you guys have a great week. From Chicago, it's the Ref Room. I'm Scott Smokin SIlz, along with our local referee in chief, Brad Baumruck, a.k.a. Birthday Boy, signing off. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace out, everybody. Take a game. Have some fun. All right. Let's go Panthers.